It's day 5, and I'm still alive. I didn't have a fucking grabber or a stroke or any of the other shit that people tell you eating too much fat is going to cause and shit. Well, here I am, day 5 of the Fat Fast. I'm going to kind of go through a spiel. For those of you here, welcome to the chat. Let's just check in real quick and see who the hell's here and shit. Let's see. We got Kat. Kat is a long. Well, you've been subscribing a little while, I think. We got Roman Graham. We got Andre. But just so you know, the way I do my live streams, let me go back over here, is I tend to go through, I have a prepared thing to talk about, a topic, and then I go through that. I do like a presentation, and that's mainly for people who don't want to sit through dead air or wait, don't want to see what other topics we get into in the Q&A, and they just kind of are here for that purpose. And people that watch after the fact, we want to keep shit flowing. And nothing annoys me more than watching a fucking live stream where the goddamn, you sit there for 20 minutes waiting for them to say something useful, or they go through a half hour of, hey, how you doing? How's this? And they're talking to them, keeping in mind that dickheads like me that couldn't show up want to watch some shit. So that's why I structure that in this way. So for those of you in the chat room, it's a one-man band. There's nobody doing the question side or moderating or anything like that. I have to manually do everything. So if I don't get to your questions, please save them for when I open it up to questions. I'm on a 30-second delay, so keep that in mind too. And we will get into all kinds of Q&A from that point forward. And thank you, Kat, for leading off in the super chat. It is the super chat donations that help make these live streams possible because I'm not having to go out and do other shit. Same thing with the website and the tip jar, but we'll get into that later. Or I'll take a break at some point between the spiel and the chats to go over some of the new things because we've done a lot of new shit since Patreon screwed the pooch. So 5-day fat fast. I am blown away. I've literally I'm almost speechless. I expected it to go a certain way. I've done 5-day water fasts. I know the symptoms I'm going to experience on a 5-day water fast. I know the feelings I'm going to have. I know the weight loss I'm going to experience. I know the weight regain that I'm going to experience. I don't know that about the fat fast yet. So, when we get into this stuff, just keep that in mind. This is only half the experiment. The other half's the refeed, but we'll get into a little bit of more of that as we go. I, so I came into this thinking it would not be as powerful, potent, and effective, thinking I would still get hungry, thinking I would still experience a fucking reduction in metabolism, thinking I would be cold, low energy, that I'd be fucking miserable. And I've experienced very little, if none, of those symptoms. And one of the reasons I don't do 14 or 30-day fasts is because of those really fucking miserable moments to where you're starving, you don't feel like doing shit, you get lightheaded and dizzy when you stand up, and there's just so many fucking problems. Thanks, Matt, for your super chat, by the way. Um, there's just so many things that crop up when you do a long water fast that make them suck. I mean, I don't think anybody in here who's done a long water fast can look somebody in the eye and say, yeah, I'm fucking happy I did a long water fast. I'm going to do that every month and shit. No, it is something we put ourselves through because of the benefits of a long water fast. There are many fucking benefits. And the reason I did this fat fast, modeled heavily on the science done by Walter Longo, who is a vegan. We can forgive him for that, I think. And, who is doing real science. I've looked through some of his studies. I've watched some of his interviews and lectures, and he's a good, solid scientist. I think he's kind of pigeonholed into this fasting mimicking diet thing, which, by the way, everything the fasting mimicking diet does, fasting does a little bit better. But we're talking about diminishing returns at that point. There is a point where if you can get most of the way, then you should be happy with that. You don't need that extra 10% of benefit over that amount. Okay? I mean, we're sitting here and we're putting ourselves through some misery when we do a long water fast. If we can get most of the way there without as much misery, shouldn't we fucking do that? And that is why I embarked on this fat fast. I took his fasting mimicking diet bullshit because I don't believe in paywalls and having to buy a week's worth of shit. And if you watch some of the interviews, I posted an interview on ScottTheTruckDriver, the Facebook page, this week. I posted an interview that he did where he went over, and if you watch to the end of that interview, he kind of gets into, the funding. He owns up, he says all of the money he makes from his company is going towards funding future studies and, some foundation. He's not keeping profits. He would argue he's losing money. And I do respect that he's doing that he's taken, he's taking the money he makes through that fasting mimicking diet and putting it towards furthering his science. And I have not found a lot of flaws in the things he's studying. And thank you, Gene, for your super chat and shit. Keeping me, surviving. I have a lot of respect for Dr. Longo's science. I have not found a lot of bias. He studied it as fasting. He did these studies for fasting. The problem he ran into is he could not get doctors or patients on board with not fucking eating for long periods of time. So he developed the fasting mimicking diet to do that. Now, knowing what I know about keto, knowing what I know about how the body processes fat, how it processes protein, how it processes sugar and carbs, I came to this idea, and it's not a new idea. Dr. Atkins knew about this. He first introduced the fat fast. Thanks, Technochrono, for your contribution. Now, he knew about this. He wrote about it in the New Atkins for a New You, or the revised version, as a way to break a plateau, the fat fast. And I got to thinking, you know what? I know, and there's not a lot. If you Google fat fasting, first of all, you got to sort through a bunch of algorithm problems because you're going to get, just fat and fasting. You'll never get a fat fast result. There's not a lot of people anecdotally. If you do keto, you can find thousands of anecdotal cases of people losing weight and doing well on keto, but I don't see hardly any motherfuckers saying, hey, I'm just going to eat fat for a week, So I took his science and I applied my knowledge of how we metabolize fat, the fact that insulin doesn't get spiked The fact that according to his science, that there is a level of protein that if you stay under it, you still remain in autophagy and it still ramps up and you still get all of the breakdown benefits of a long water fast, which we're going to get into as we go. But fasting is tearing shit down. You got to remember, you got to rebuild afterwards. You know, when the hurricane comes through and clears out all the shit, you have to get in there and build some new buildings, and hopefully you do them better that fucking time than you did, you know, break it before, you know, or something. So, hitting the mics and shit. My bad. I'm a professional and shit. So, keeping in mind, you know, that his science coupled with how I know fat does not have a significant insulin. It does a little bit of a one, but it's not enough. I became curious, what happens if I just, when I was hungry during a long water fast or during a long fast, if I just put heavy cream in my coffee, which I've sometimes done on a shorter fast as a crutch and not noticed a big difference in results. But I never applied it during a long fast. A long water fast were black coffee and fucking water. And so what happens if we fucking do that? You know, if what happens if sorry, I'm getting distracted because my monitor of this live stream is fucking buffering on me, and I'm hoping it's not doing it for you guys. I hope it's just my connection there. What happens if we apply that, you know, idea of using fat as a crutch in a long fast? Do we still get most, if not all, of the benefits of a long fast? And I'm blown away. 9 pounds I have lost in 5 days. Now, before you blow a load, you got to keep in mind that I hadn't shit for a few days before I started the fast. That happened during the fast, not too far in. So some of that is food and shit weight. You know, a lot of people don't understand that about the scale. The scale's a piece of shit. All right. You know, it's measuring your shit weight. It's measuring your food weight when you eat. It's measuring your water weight when you get fucking bloated. So that's all gone. And that's part of that 9-pound equation. You know, so I'm not sitting here, you know, stroking myself at the 9 pounds. It is high for a number, a lot higher than I anticipated. I anticipated maybe 5 pounds of weight loss for a 7-day period, because I'm so fat adapted and so, you know, and I haven't been carved up in a long time. So I didn't think I had much water weight to lose. I didn't, you know, I knew I had some food weight that was going to be gone. So most of that number, to be fair, is shit weight and water weight. By the way, I'm not done with the fat fast. I still got 2 more days. I'm doing a 7-day protocol, with a 7-day normal eating, and that's going to be the test on if this is really working. When you do a long water fast, you tend to regain the weight, most of it. Sometimes you keep a couple pounds, you lose a couple pounds that stay lost, but for the most part, you regain most of the weight of a water fast. And if you're eating standard American diet, you regain all the fucking weight of a long fast. I've done it multiple times, happens every fucking time with the standard American diet. You do a 7-day fucking fast or a 5-day fast in the standard American diet, you're miserable as fuck because you're extra hungry, and then you regain all the fucking weight. I want to know if that's going to happen on this fat fast. We don't know that yet, so this is kind of like part 1 of a video series. I will do a post-read feed live stream and open up to questions there at some point. But, you know, we're exploring the idea of another tool in our fasting toolbox. So I get a lot of comments and a lot of people tell me, like, I can't go beyond 36 hours. I can't go beyond 24 hours. Man, 48's my bitch. You know, and what if we had tools to crutch our way through for? What if we started out a long fast by doing a 5-day fat fast? Well, say you wanted to do a 30-day fast. You know, you're obese, you got lots of weight to lose. You want to really take a good fucking chunk out of that. Maybe you're not even on board with keto. Um, I'm thinking, what if you started out with a 5-day fat fast like I'm doing right now, and then transitioned to a water fast? Another thing to think about for the future of this kind of experiment for me. I don't recommend doing any of this shit, by the way, unless you're not on medication, you're healthy, or you're supervised by a doctor. I'm a dickhead. I throw caution to the wind. I am not supervised by a doctor. I am confident enough in what I'm doing that I'm willing to take the risk that maybe I have an underlying health condition that is not conducive to fasting. I do not recommend any of you take that chance. Go out, get yourself checked, get your blood levels checked. I'm a risky motherfucker. I do not want anybody else doing these, this shit, taking these risks. Fucking Sorry, I got distracted by Bobby Niggs and his question, how much do I have to pay to have brunch with Scott? Re-ask me that if I forget later. I'll answer that. I'm not quite ready for meet and greets yet. So, you know, I just completely I got a little bit of ADD and shit. I've always had that or something. So, how can we use this going forward? How can we use this as a crutch? And I contend that if you're healthy, if you've gone and you have a doctor on board and you get checked periodically through a long fast and you do it properly, a supervised fast per se, that having this tool in your toolbox could be invaluable. Now, one of the things you're going to fucking run into with this is, hold on, fucking YouTube fasting shit. Okay, well, it still says my stream is good, so apparently my preview's just not working properly. Let me know in the comments if you guys are having a fucking problem with the stream. Fuckers. Goddamn YouTube and shit. Anyways. So, say you've got it all worked out. You're doing this and you're doing a fat fast. And it becomes a tool in our toolbox. And the more of those we have, we don't always have to do the same fucking protocols. I've switched protocols probably 50 times in the past 3 years to kind of change things up, to do things forward. I've done cyclical ketogenic diets. I've done fasting, intermittent fasting, long water fast, short water fast, ADF, keto, straight keto with no fasting. I've done a lot of different things. And, one of the ways that we can keep this as a lifestyle is to vary our protocols a little bit. And I am very happy to add this as a protocol. That being said, you are going to experience some fucking pushback on this. Fat is still demonized. We all know the vegans demonize it. We don't need to go there. They demonize saturated fat. Oh, it's gonna fucking give you a heart attack. Well, it causes diabetes. And that fucking makes veins pop out of places when they tell me that meat causes diabetes, when our meat fucking consumption has remained fairly constant. If you look at the statistics, and our carb consumption went way up, and so did our fucking diabetes and heart disease. So every time I hear that, that's what I'm thinking about that argument. So here's the thing. Saturated fat from a limited amount of sources is good for you. Your body, it seamlessly goes into your bloodstream and allows you to use it for energy. However, only if you are fat adapted and fueling yourself with fat. If you are a carb motherfucker, you don't want tons of saturated fat. And I agree on that, because you are flooding. First, you're turning the carbs and sugar into fat because your glycogen's probably full. And then you're putting more fat in there and you're just overwhelming yourself with fat. That's important to fucking remember. You got to remember that you're one or the other. You can't do both. Either you're a carb burner, in which case, when you're eating your carbs, you might not want to be piling this saturated fat into you, because you're already making fat from the carbs. Once your glycogen's full, and it don't take much, especially on the standard American diet, all the rest of it is fat. And it's not efficiently going places. It's getting stuck in your liver. You're getting fatty liver. It's getting stuck in your arteries, clogging your fucking arteries. It's, driving up your blood sugar, because you're so busy trying to stuff all that sugar into glycogen. Your glycogen's already full, so it gets stuck in your blood. So you raise insulin, which pushes it back into your liver to be converted to fat. And then that fat, if you have a limited fat storage, that goes out and just spills out into tissues, causing more insulin resistance. So you don't want to do fat and, fuck tons of fat and fuck tons of carbs. That's a recipe for death, all right? However, if you've done a 6-week keto adaptation, you are fat adapted. That is who this fast is for. I would not recommend this unless, if you're a carb burner, unless you were going to do a 72-hour water-only fast to clear out your glycogen, to shift over into ketosis. Once you are in ketosis from being a carb burner, then it would be safe to use this as a crutch. And you're still not going to feel as good as someone who's fat adapted doing this. I contend if you do it that way, you're likely to run into some bowel problems. Like you're going to be on the bowl. If anyone who's fat adapted knows that there is a period of time that fat puts you on the bowl. And, so that is the case. But before I get into the exactly what I did, because I do see questions popping up, keep in mind I can't really keep focused on the questions and talk shit at the same time. There are a few things I wanted to bring up. I will eventually get these links into the description, but I want to, first of all, here's a nice site which lists the study. If you click on this area right here, in these links, it gives you a nice synopsis, but you should always click through to the original studies. And these are all studies which dispute the diet heart hypothesis that our motherfucking standard American diet has been based on all these years. Saturated fat either does nothing, and these are meta-analysis, so you should take them as that. They're not observational, or they're observational studies. They're not, controlled studies. Although I do think the first study does contain a controlled study. So, you gotta keep that in mind. But you don't even that. If you want some more hard data, you can go to this study. Long-term effects of a ketogenic diet in obese patients. They put them on a 24-week, which is a pretty respectable amount of time. It takes 6 weeks to adapt. And their LDL improved. Their triglycerides went down. I would think they would stay a little high. It's everything improved. Their blood sugar improved. Their fasting blood sugar improved. And this is hard data. Controlled study. Do you need any more proof that saturated fat's okay in a ketogenic setting, in a fat-adapted setting? I don't. That's why I felt fairly confident in not even being monitored on a 5-day fat fast, because I know these fats are good for me. So, let's get into what the fuck I did, So, the protocol that I decided to do was similar to the fasting mimicking diet calorically. Each cup of coffee, and that's mainly my delivery method for my fat during this. There was coffee and caffeine involved in this process. Each cup of coffee, I got about an ounce of heavy cream in, which amounts to about 100 calories of fat. There is a very minute amount of protein, indistinguishable. A very minute amount of carbs, almost indistinguishable. Anyone who knows about fasting knows 50 calories of consumption of carbohydrate or protein will break the fast and start you over again, which can lead to increased and very, very powerful hunger, because if you don't press on with the feeding at that point, you trigger the response. Okay, we're getting food finally, but then you don't feed enough, and that can lead to all kinds of fucking problems. So you generally, sorry, distracted. You generally, I put the fat in my coffee, and that is the majority of the fat. And I left myself a backup plan. At first, the backup plan was a shot of heavy cream if I had a hunger pang. I've had two hunger pangs. One significant, and that was at an 80-hour mark, and then another mild one. Yesterday at 4 p.m., I had a mild hunger pang. The first hunger pang, I did a shot of heavy cream. Fine. 15 minutes, hunger pang over. Didn't get hungry the rest of the night. But it was close to bedtime, so, it is what it is. The 4 p.m., I took a look at my 100% cocoa chocolate, which is mostly fat, 1 gram of carbohydrate net, and 2 grams of protein net per serving, and I had a serving and a half of that. And, 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories, by the way. The same with protein, 4 calories per gram, so about, 12 grams of 12 calories of carbohydrates. Not enough. You're going to burn that off in digestion. So I took in some chocolate. I put my artificial sweetener was a part of this. And full disclosure, I did put 1 packet of Stevia Naturals in my coffee. I like it a little sweet. I've been trying to cut back. I want to get rid of that completely because I do feel I'm addicted to that. But as you can see from the results, it made absolutely no fucking difference. And it didn't spike hunger at all either. I've been satiated. The majority of my not being hungry, right there in the coffee cup. In my coffee cup that's got pussy all over it. See? Yeah. Anyways, the majority of my calories, of these 800 calories, came from heavy cream, and I only supplemented during hunger pangs. Otherwise, water, plastic water, but still water, and that's it for all 5 days so far, and I'm going for 7. 7-ish. Like, I'll break it midday Sunday, because I don't want to break a fast on Christmas dinner. I want to warm up a little first. I don't know the whether or not there's going to be any refeeding issues. It shouldn't really be an issue since my digestive system has remained active because I'm consuming fat. And of course, the chocolate helped too. And, not being hungry is the goal of this fast. It's not about being better than a water fast. It's about not being fucking hungry for the very, very intense period that goes on in the first 72 hours, and then sometimes the 4 or 5 day fucking hump that we often encounter. I wanted that shit to not be an issue. I wanted to not worry so much about hunger. I wanted to feel all right, and I don't want to be a miserable fuck on a long fast. And if I have to give up like 10% of the benefits to get 90% of the way there with very little misery and hangry fucking aggressiveness or lack of energy, or I've had all the mental benefits. I've had the euphoria that happened today. If a lot of people who do long fasts will note that there's periods of euphoria where you feel really good. So that's kind of where this fat fast comes into play. It's a crutch. Water fasts are the most powerful tool if that's what your thing is. I'm at my goal. I'm below my goal. I've set a record. I was 184 pounds this morning and some odd amount. And I've set a record on my my belly measurement, which was 35.25 inches. If I hit 35 inches, that's my goal. I could stop right there, and hover in the 35 to 36 inch range long term and be fine. It's curiosity that's driving me to do these last 2 days. Will I hit 35 inches? I anticipate a couple more pounds of weight loss. Maybe that'll level out. I don't know. But that's exactly where I'm at with this fat fast. It has been a profound, eye-opening experiment on myself, and I can't explain how thrilled I am at how easy this was and how effective it was. Essentially, I've done 5-day water fasts with the same exact weight loss results, the same exact inch loss results, um, and being that I'm in my plateau weight range right now, I could very well rebound right back where I was, even with this fast, and I'm aware of that. And that's the last thing I want to know is, did I waste my fucking time? Am I going to regain all this weight? Is it going to be any different with the refeed period? Will I need to take it really easy? Or can I just sit down with some steak and eggs and go to town? You know, there's a lot of questions I have yet to answer, but I did want to share this experience because a 5-day fat fast, you know, the fasting mimicking diet does a 5-day cycle every month. So one week for 5 days out of the month, you do the fasting mimicking diet and then you eat normally. And I do believe normally doesn't really encompass a ketogenic diet, probably a vegan diet. But, you know, that's the protocol for the fasting mimicking diet. I wanted to take it further. I was going to do 7 days fat fasting, 7 days normal ketogenic eating, and alternate between the two and see what happens. I might not need to do that. Maybe once a month is enough. That'll remain to be seen. These are things I want to answer going forward and why I'm doing this experiment. I'm happy with ADF, by the way. You know, ADF keto has worked out great for me. I don't get hungry on my fasting days. I, you know, occasionally throw cream into those fasting days with no moving the needle or results. And you know, it's nice to know I have a tool now for when I fuck up. We all fuck up. We're in a hostile food environment. We're in a bad social environment when it comes to food. Sooner or later, you're going to gain some weight and you're going to be like, fuck. And on ADF, you can wait it out. You can press on with your normal ADF and your weight will climb back down. This is a benefit of being fat adapted. Your hormones do their job. They upregulate your metabolism so that your weight will come back down. That's a two-way street that's only possible when fat adapted. You cannot get the benefits of increased metabolism while you're a carb burner. I've seen no evidence to support that, where I have seen evidence of over-consuming fat driving up your metabolic rate. And I think that's what's at play here. I've not experienced reduced metabolism during this fast, which usually consists of getting very cold despite it being warm. It consists of reduced energy. You don't want to do shit. You don't want to get up. You don't want to get out. You don't feel like doing anything when your metabolism drops like this. You're generally kind of useless. And I've experienced that on a 5-day water fast with a standard American diet. You know, your metabolism drops. And part of that being dropped is when you start refeeding, that makes you primed to regain the weight. My metabolism hasn't dropped. I think I experienced a slight drop on day 4. It didn't last very. It was like an hour of kind of a little bit of reduce. You know, I could use a nap, kind of. You know, and I didn't feel like doing physical shit. And then gradually, it went away. Like within an hour and a half, and I felt energized and energetic again. And there was a fat consumption. You could rule that to caffeine probably too, as participating in that. So I think you might actually retain your metabolism better on a long fast with fat involved. Another question that will be answered next week during the refeed period. Now, the last thing I want to touch on before we get to the Q&A is the importance of the refeed period for both water fast, fat fast, or any other fasting you do. One of the things that happens is we get afraid to fucking eat after these fasts. You have to consume enough calories or your metabolism will fall. During the fast, you might experience it anyway if you're water fasting. Fat fasting, the jury's still out. I want to do a couple more of these before I'm willing to comfortably say that you retain a higher metabolism during a fat fast than you do during a water fast. So, we got to keep this going, as far as whether or not our metabolism drops during a fat fast. But, you'll know when it drops. It's not hard to figure out your metabolism's low. You'll know. You won't feel energetic. You won't want to get up. You won't want to go out and do things. You won't be motivated. Exercise, you'll struggle at it. You'll be like finding excuses to not go to the fucking gym, if that's your thing. I don't do that, but if I did, I wouldn't want to go if I was shitty metabolism and shit. So, it's about getting your metabolism right, and you have to refeed a fast. The other reason you have to refeed a fast, and Dr. Longo goes into this extensively in some of his interviews and lectures, we got to rebuild what we tore down. During a long fast, you are jumping into autophagy. This gets ramped up around day 4 or 5 of a water fast, and he contends during the fasting mimicking diet, which implies during a fat fast around day 4 and 5, you are in a higher level of autophagy. Autophagy is where cells recycle themselves or basically kill themselves and provide you with the amino acids you need for multiple functions in the body, maintaining important tissue, for gluconeogenesis, which is always running this entire time. Some are worried about losing their muscle as a result, especially not taking in protein. But the mechanism that is protective of muscle loss during a long water fast is active in a fat fast, according to his science. And that's what I'm testing out. You will notice smaller muscles, smaller size. You will look a little gaunt at the end of a long fast. But what he contends is a long fast primes the pump for growth. You create stem cells that are ready and they're just waiting on enough energy to do their job. And then when you start refeeding, those cells go to work and rebuild the tissues that were lost. And I've seen this in the past when I was pounding the fuckmaster, to where, yes, during the fast and maybe about a week post-fast, you'll experience a reduction in athletic performance, but then you fucking, you stuff your fucking face and you keep going and you regain all of the strength back that you may have lost. The size comes back, everything comes back. And the argument is what that did for you is provide you a fresh batch of cells that are doing their job a hell of a lot better than the dead cells or the damaged cells that were sitting there in your fucking system. There's also implications for cancer, that cancer doesn't thrive in this environment, and you could be reducing your risk of cancer by doing these things. The science is still ongoing for that. But those are the benefits you're reaping with a long fast, and my hypothesis is during a fat fast, you get most of those benefits. I might even get all of them. That's what blew me away about this week's results for 5-day fast. Because I've done 5-day fasts several times now, and the results are just almost the same to me. In fact, I think this has beaten a couple of my water fasts in terms of weight loss and inches lost. So that's interesting. That's very interesting to me. So I can now finally read the comments without getting distracted. So if you have questions, comments on either this topic or maybe you keto, fasting, minimalism, or whatever the fuck you want to talk to me about, you can do so in the comments. While I'm waiting for the questions to start flowing, I want to bring up the fact that I replaced Patreon with ScottTheTruckDriver.com. This entire fat fast is available in the blog. Link is already in the description, I believe. And it goes through my day-to-day measurement, weight, and what I did. And I generally have some kind of thoughts. It's kind of like reading a video that I do. So I'm building that as a place where I blog Monday through Friday. And I'm going to be adding many more features to ScottTheTruckDriver.com. So you can, of course, just bookmark it or go to it every once in a while. Also, if you like my Facebook page, Scott the Truck Driver, anytime I update the website, I push out that update to Facebook so you can click through and see, what I'm doing on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. So that's basically where I'm at with that. You can, of course, contribute to the channel now. I don't have a subscription like Patreon, but you can just go in and whenever you're comfortable, if you want to financially assist me with making videos, you can do so. There is a virtual tip jar. You can click it and contribute pretty much as you want, in that tip jar. So that's it for fucking plugging shit. Let's get to some of the comments. So, Terry Osberg. I should put this up on the screen and shit so everybody can enjoy it. I'm in the middle of an experiment myself. I'm ketogenic, but I'm increasing my calorie intake by 200 per day calories every week by adding more fat and protein, but I'm keeping my protein relatively low. That is what we like to call reverse dieting, and it is an interesting self-experiment that I do want to try at some point. Keeping in mind, when you're fat adapted, your metabolism is supposed to upregulate if you overeat your energy consumption. As in, say you sat on your ass all day and you put an extra 500 calories in your ass, will your basal metabolic rate rise to the occasion? And the theory behind that is that you'll burn off the excess energy, essentially giving you a plateau in the other direction. As in, you will only gain so much weight before your metabolism ramps up to knock that back down. And that is how we're designed to work. We fucked that up with the standard American diet. So we have to keep that in mind, that if you're standard American dieting, this principle does not apply. It really only applies when you're fat adapted, as far as I know. Vegans will argue with me, but they're fucking hungry all the time, so I can't really say that. And hunger is part of that equation. It's your hormones telling you that you need to take in more. It's wanting to bring in more energy because it felt that you have exceeded your balance. Your body wants to be balanced. Whenever you fuck with that balance, you are going to have your body fight back. We all know it from losing weight. You're going to regain the weight if you go back to what you were doing. If you go and pound on Fuckmaster and you stop pounding the Fuckmaster, guess what's going to happen? He's going to be like, hey, motherfucker, remember that? Well, I've been burning 500 less calories a day, so you better start eating 500 less calories a day, plus whatever fucking exercise you were doing. And, that's why the Biggest Loser study showed them rebounding. The theory that no one's really explored, because quite frankly, when you were obese and you lost a shit ton of weight, you're not ready to fucking overeat. You're not ready to fucking test this out. I will, because I know how to lose it if it fails. So at some point I will explore reverse dieting and the concept of your metabolism ramping up when you overconsume on a ketogenic diet. So hope that answers that question. Alrighty. What else we got? Cat Marlette. I have started and stopped keto to see what difference it made to me. After feeling like crap for the last 2 weeks, I am working on getting back to keto, which will take 6 weeks. Absolutely. I've bounced in and out of keto several times over the past 3 years. There are times when you just need a break, and I think shocking the system, there's some idea that might move our set point. I don't know if that contributed to my set point, which for a year I was stuck. I could not get below 194 to save my fucking life. There were 2 or 3 significant periods of time where I went off keto, standard American diet, sugar and all, and fucked myself probably for that. But then I got back on the horse and got back into keto, did my 6-week adaptation. As you know, I recently had a cheat day. I bounced back from that cheat day within a couple weeks. That goes to show a cheat day will set you back short term, but it won't undo your fat adaptation necessarily. Which gets into a whole nother topic, the carb cycling topic, which we'll tackle another day. Whenever you fall off the horse, you're gonna fall off the horse. The world is set up to tempt you into fucking yourself. You know, you're gonna trip. You're gonna fucking go out and say, wow, that pizza looks really fucking good. You know, you're gonna fucking attack some food occasionally. And people are gonna be putting it, hey, you want some pizza? How about a fucking donut? I brought a box of donuts to work, dickhead. How come you're not eating the fucking donuts and shit? Eat them! You know, the world is not helping ketos right now. You know, people look at us like we're fucked up in the head, like we're on some kind of drugs, like we're delusional. You know, vegans hate us. It's nuts the way the world is set up. And, you know, it's so rare to find other ketos currently. I just met a new keto last night. She might even be watching right now. And we're commiserating on keto. She just started out. She's been on a long weight loss journey. I don't know how deep, you know, I don't know what she's comfortable with, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. But she definitely has gone through a lot of the pitfalls of weight loss that we have. She's coming out on top. It was a long, hard journey that isn't over for her, and that is a journey that we have all dealt with in one way or another. And one of the reasons my channel exists is showing a different way from the normal eat less, move more bullshit on accomplishing the same goal with less money, less effort, less health problems, less metabolism drop, and that's kind of where we gotta at. So I guess my main point is when you fall off the horse, and I've said this in the blog, I don't know how many times, or in statuses here and there, but I always want to reiterate, it's like one of my favorite quotes of my shit. I'm quoting myself, I think. Maybe somebody else came up with this first. If you keep falling off the horse, it's important that you keep getting back on the horse. And each time, and this has been true for me, each time you get back on that horse, you're going to ride that motherfucker longer than it was the last time you fell off. And eventually, if you keep getting back on that horse, you'll get where the fuck you want to go. And you need to do that. That if nothing else, don't get discouraged. Don't say, fuck it, this is too hard. Give me the soda and candy and shit. You know, don't get into that mindset, because then you won't get back on the horse. Eventually, you will ride the motherfucker. You'll get sick of having to keep getting back on the horse. You'll be like, I just have to undo 3 weeks of debauchery, and it's going to take me 4 months. And there'll come a point where mentally you're like, okay, and you'll think about it next time that you're getting ready to fall off the horse, you know. This doesn't just get sprung on us. We don't trip and fall and eat a fucking donut or a pizza. You know, a thought process starts to creep in when you realize how much of a pain in the ass it is to undo the damage. You know, you're talking at least 3 weeks on just a couple of cheat days. 2 cheat days, 3 weeks of recovery. Pain in the balls. I don't want to do that for 3 weeks. And if you don't do that, you don't skip a beat. You're not even worried about it. You don't even think about it. You're just on your fucking horse, riding along, and you're looking around at all the people that are on the fucking ground because they fell off the horse when they were born, and you're going, oh, look at me. I'm fucking way ahead of these motherfuckers. Yeah. And that's kind of what you have to do to keep getting back on the horse, because it'll get to a point, and it has for me, where when I'm presented with a challenge like that, to where, okay, Christmas is coming up, gotta eat fucked up on Christmas, I'm not gonna do it. I will pass. I look at sugar and carbs now as that is not the food I'm supposed to eat. Some of it is not even real food at all. You know, it's like cardboard with fucking sugar in it. And, you know, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to go through the recovery. It may give me a half hour of euphoria from the sugar high, followed by the despicable crash and feeling like shit for the next 12 hours, not to mention the 3 days of bloat and excess weight and watching the scale climb the fucking sky high levels, and then having to undo all of that by getting back on the horse. And it's to the point now where I see that situation coming. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Is the 3 weeks of me fucking undoing the damage worth the day or two of debauchery? Or, God forbid, you do like a fucking week and a half of debauchery, because then you're spending months recovering. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. You need to fucking recover. You need to get back on the horse. Don't get discouraged. There are many people who start this shit, they're already fucked, and they are getting miraculous recovery. And this is after a lifetime of fucking up. Keep it in that perspective. If you only fucked up for a month, you're not undoing 20, 30 years of fucking up. You're undoing the week. It's not going to take you as long. But you got to get back on the horse. That's the most important thing. Keep restart. I don't care if you fucking fall off the horse every weekend. You get back on the horse on Monday and you see how far you can fucking ride, and you'll get there. And I say this from a personal level because I am a professional at falling off the fucking horse. I've struggled with drinking, as many of you know, and getting off that horse, getting on the horse from not drinking or whatever. See, I'm all philosophical and shit. I'm struggling with these things myself. I'm off the sugar. I do not desire it. I do not covet it. Artificial sweetener is another fucking story. But which one's worse for you? And so we got to just keep getting on the horse. And I felt it very important. I'm sorry if I missed a few comments in the process of this rant. But that was for anyone that's struggling. And I know this is a time of year where a lot of people are going to fall off their fucking horse. And they're probably going to they're going to tuck and roll and shit and roll around in horse shit for the entire fucking week between fucking New Year's and Christmas. For some reason, once we get on the ground, we roll around for a little while and wallow in it. And it's not necessary, first of all, but then you do so much damage in that time period that you don't feel like doing that recovery period. So, alrighty. Well, let's get back to some more questions and shit. How are we doing on time? I don't even know. I think we've been at it an hour. That's fine. We can go a little while tonight. Let me double check the super chats because I haven't been paying attention. See if I'm missing anybody there. And of course, I minimized that shit, didn't I? Yeah, well, not important right now. All right. I don't want to send myself a super chat. Thank you very much, but no thanks. Let me check it on my other computer here. Yeah, it's very important that I get to people who contribute to super chat because they're helping me grow this channel and survive it. So no new super chats. Once again, thanks Kat, thanks Matt, thanks Gene, thanks Technochrono for everything that you have been doing. Some of you contribute regularly, and I'm happy about that. And we are going to go over some of the Scott the Truck Driver contributors at the end because they really stepped up through the Patreon thing, and I'm definitely fucking impressed with that. So let's see what we got here. I already did a comment. Okay, Sharpie. I melt baker's chocolate and mix in sugar of choice, freeze and crack up. I don't mix in the sugar of choice, the artificial sweetener of choice. We got to make that distinction because some people see sugar and they think, cane juice is okay or natural or fucking honey because it came from a bee's asshole. It does the same thing to your liver. All right. No fiber, lots of fucking fructose. Your liver's fucked. And can, if you go over your grams for the day, kick you right the hell out of ketosis. And reset an adaptation if you're in the middle of that period. So I do the same thing. Baker's chocolate is pretty much my chocolate of choice. I don't go through that much effort though. I literally snap off a piece of fucking Baker's chocolate. I take a packet of Stevia Naturals, which is erythritol mixed with stevia to offset the aftertaste and the gaseous effects of erythritol. And I dump a packet over that, kind of like, powdering it, and I try and balance it so I don't spill it. And then I just eat the motherfucker like that. and oh my God, it's like eating chocolate. It mixes in your mouth, obviously. I'm to the point now where there is a slight aftertaste to 100% dark chocolate, and but I'm past that. You get used to it after a while. Same way you get used to stevia, erythritol. It becomes every bit as good to you as sugar and addictive. It does spike dopamine. I'm noticing, and I'm wondering if I'm too addicted to it, and I don't like being addicted to shit anymore. So I'm kind of stepping it down a notch. I don't think I'll ever be rid of it. I like sweet, and to eliminate sweet from my diet, I don't think is realistic. Seeing if I can go without it, that's a challenge that's upcoming. But I do a lot of simple desserts, and keeping it simple is the best way to stay on the diet, to be honest with you. If you have to elaborately bake and cook and make recipes and shit to get through this diet, and especially if you're not, inclined in the kitchen, you're going to fall right the fuck off because it's just too much of a pain in the ass to prepare foods. There are times when I don't cook and I just go into the supermarket. I get some cheese curds. I look for some lunch meats that aren't the healthiest but get the job done, and maybe some greens. And I'll mix all that up together, put some seasoning on it, maybe some butter or some olive oil or something, and lo and behold, I have an easy meal. Or I'll put pizza toppings in a bowl along with some low carb pizza sauce and have a pizza with no crust, essentially, eaten with a fork. It's a lot of, being creative with what you got, but not having to spend an hour creating or making or baking or cooking. I am not a cook. I can make some eggs. I can make some bacon. I could probably do a steak. And I say probably because not very often I make a steak. I'm often in people's company that's what they decide to feed me because they don't know what the fuck else I eat. And, so there is that, but just keep it simple. You got to keep it simple. Alrighty. And I realized I didn't switch over and you were but it's good. You get to read the comments that are coming in case I miss any, and then I can go back and read them because I do rewatch the entire 2-hour live streams to see how fucking shitty I was. Yeah, I'm a little self-conscious, I guess. So, alrighty. Ketogenic forever. My question about metabolism stuff you talked in the Jimmy Moore video. Well, you didn't ask the question. Oh, wait, there you go. You said if you are keto adapted and you fast, you won't have slower metabolism because you are using your own body fat. To revise that a little bit, your metabolism, you won't have a slow metabolism, as in your metabolism won't drop and stay there unless you remain in a caloric deficit. If you are constantly in a deficit, and I know people who are on keto that are consistently in a deficit. They go to the gym a lot, they get full really quick, and they don't eat enough calories to cover their workouts. If you stay in that state, your metabolism stays down. Where keto differs, and this, I haven't really thoroughly explored this. This is all theory crafted on science at this point. There are occasions where I do feel I've overconsumed and I didn't gain a significant, like a pound at most I gained, and then it dropped back down later. When you're on keto, your metabolism will drop back down. It will, you can shift negative 500 to about positive 500. Any more under eating than that or over consuming than that, you will, if you're under eating, I don't think you'll slow down much more than 500. I've seen no records of that in the studies that illustrate this mechanism. But I'm pretty sure the cap is at 500 excess calories. So if you eat 1,000 excess calories, you're probably going to put on weight. But if you just slightly go over a little bit, then you might gain short-term water weight, bloat, and all of that. But after it's all said and done, you will level out. Your metabolism will go up. If you're in that negative 500 balance and then you have a day where you eat 1,000 extra calories of fat bombs, aka theoretically, your metabolism ramps back up. And I don't believe it after this fast and seeing the difference in the metabolic drop that happens around day 4 or 5 of a water fast, which I am currently just sitting here right now. I'm 5 days fucking fat fasted and have not experienced that metabolic drop. And that's not a calorie deficit, a significant calorie deficit, but there's no protein and no carbs in that ratio, in that formula. And that's the difference. There are things when you are fasting that get turned off by protein. Autophagy is turned off by probably more than 5 or 6 grams of protein in a sitting for 3 hours. And when you take in protein and carbs and end of fast, you shift the mode your body is in. The survival things turn off and it goes back to, okay, we have food again. And this isn't turn on a dime. It doesn't. And if you turn the system over and you don't jump back into feeding yourself, you get into these cycles. And for Jimmy Moore, he is an exerciser. He does eat a lot of frankenfoods, which could be another source of his issue if he's being honest. I don't know him. I don't know how honest he is about what he does. I do know he's built a business on the foundation of his initial weight loss, and that he hasn't stopped, obviously, talking about it. But it's about, if I believe him, which I kind of do, I don't think he's, he seems like a good guy. I gotta believe that the failure is coming from the metabolic thing. And when you're a carb burner, you don't bounce back when you lower your metabolism. Not easily. It could take years, especially if you keep eating carbs. When you're keto adapted and your hormones are doing their job, your apostat, your body wants to be in homeostasis. I said it earlier in this stream. You need that balance, and it'll fight it either way. When you're eating carbs and sugar, particularly the standard American diet, you can tank your metabolism, but the carbs and sugar aren't going to do the job with your hormones to go the other way, so that when you'll be way up here in your calories, but you'll still be burning 500 less fucking calories in your basal metabolic rate, and you'll gain a shit ton of weight back. And it sucks. And it's why most diets fail. 99% eat less, move more fucking failure rate. 1% success rate. Those are the motherfuckers that are dedicated, doubling down each time, going to the gym 7 days a week, fucking staying in that fuckmaster all the time. Yeah, I'm fucking thin. Look at it work for me. Oh god, I gotta be at the gym for another fucking 3 days. Come on. I don't want to end that cycle. Fuck that. Most of my weight loss came without exercise, and I'm fucking happy about that. So I hope that answers the metabolism question in regards to Jimmy Moore. So, alrighty. Hamming Distance just contributed. Is that right? Hamming did. Okay. Thank you for the I Ain't Gonna Be Broke as Fuck fund. Contributing to that. And Merry Christmas to you. Greetings from Germany, Mr. Scott, the ketogenic truck driver. Really like your work, and it improved my life a lot. Thanks, and have a great Christmas time. And thank you. I want to reiterate, you guys do as much for me as I do for you. You keep me accountable. You keep me researching. You keep me thinking about it. You keep me experimenting. This Fat Fast wouldn't have happened if not for you guys. If not, looking at other things that I can give you guys to help get you through a lot of the pitfalls I experienced in the past 3 years. As, I'm pretty much arriving at my goal. I'm going to have to do a, hey, I got here video at some point with pictures. I know some of you are fucking breathlessly waiting for that shit. But, I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not, you're not going to look at my pictures and be like, oh yeah, sign me up for that. So, but you will see the progress eventually. But that's coming. I want to be firmly planted at, 35, 36 inches. There's not going to be abs available in that. There's going to be some loose skin action, still a bit of a belly because I'm not going to ab range. But you'll see the difference from before and after. And if you can't wait for that shit, if you go back to my, I don't speak French bitch truck vlog that was back, or my first vlog, you'll see the difference between then and now. And you can see some, more wider pictures of my body during some of my adventure videos and shit. And if you really don't believe me and you want to say, oh, you didn't lose shit, well, that's your reference for now until I give you another picture where you can say, oh, no, he's not there. I don't see abs. He's not fucking ripped. Fuck that. I ain't doing that. Look at that. He's got no muscle and shit. I'm waiting for all of that, and that's one of the reasons I haven't posted the before and after pictures. But they're coming. I just want to say I got from here to here. This is how long it took, and it's not a fucking seductive, time to fap to, because guess what? It took me 2-3 years to really get to the goal of taking my time, chipping away at it, knocking down my plateau, knocking down my set point. This is not a short term, I'm going to lose all my weight in 6 weeks bullshit. And I want to emphasize that when I do the result video. I do not want people to think I'm pitching some unrealistic way of losing weight. I'm not the guy that starts the fucking health channel and takes his shirt off every fucking video. Till hour! Oh, sorry. I got Tourette's or something. That's why I fucking swear a lot. But, I do not think, whether or not I have abs or the fucking other guy has abs or they're flexing their big biceps and shit. I do not think that is a motivation and should not be a motivation to do this. It should be, I don't want to be sick for the last 20 years of my life. I don't want to be on fucking 10 fucking prescriptions. I don't want to drop 17 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or $100,000 in the goddamn medical bills when I'm fucking 50 through 60. Who gives a shit if you got abs at that point? What good's are abs gonna do you if you're fucking on medication the rest of your life? If you're a fucking diabetic, which can happen despite having abs, by the way. And I need to calm down. Okay. Sorry, I got triggered. Sometimes I just randomly get triggered. That's life. I just realized I left the chat up again, too. All right. Oh. So, thank you again. Let's scroll down here and see if I can get somebody who I haven't responded to yet. Or scroll up. System of a Fox. What fat are you consuming during the fast? I've said it before, I'll repeat it. I consumed heavy cream is the majority of the fast, and 100% cocoa chocolate a couple times in a serving and a half of each, which is high in fat and fiber, by the way, and low in protein and carbs. It has the correct ratio to not break the fast based on Dr. Longo's work. So that's where I'm at. Everything I ate, as far as macros is concerned, is well within, if not extremely well within, the fasting mimicking diets ratios. The micronutrition could be argued, but where I come from with the micronutrition, and I'm going to put my face up on the fucking screen for this part, micronutrition is a big concern for a lot of people. If you, during your feeding period, and you are eating healthy, you are eating whole foods, whether you're vegan or not. Well, vegans don't get everything, but let's not turn it into one of those videos. But, if you eat healthy, both before and after a long fast, even a 30-day fast, you are not going to become deficient. But with a caveat, get your blood work. If you're scared, get your blood work. You might be deficient while you're eating, in which case a fast is going to exacerbate that. You're going to feel it. So I can't stress enough, know if you're deficient. Get your blood work. I know I'm sending you to the goddamn medical industry, and they already get a lot of money out of us. But it helps to kind of know. I haven't done it in a while. I'm not practicing what I preach. I'm an asshole like that. But if I felt so inclined, if I thought that I was, worried about this issue, I would go get my blood work before and after. There is blood work coming spring next year. I'm going in for my checkup, and I'm going to say, I need blood work. I've changed my diet. I want to know what the fuck's going on. So that's kind of what's important about the micros in this process. 5 to 7 days, I honestly don't think it makes a difference. I don't believe in supplementing. In fact, I think some supplements make you hungrier while you're fasting because you're turning off processes which leach some of these minerals out of your bones, another storage area. You got minerals in your fat. You got minerals and vitamins in your gut bacteria, a lot of which is being utilized during a longer fast to provide you with things you need. The bacteria dies off because you're not feeding it, and then you go in and you get whatever's left over. We're very good scavengers. And then when you eat, you rebuild that gut bacteria, obviously, based on what kinds of foods you're eating. Because you don't kill it all. Even in a 30-day fast, you're not going to kill it all off. There is a little bit of a war that goes on. And that's what you have to do. You got to do all of that. You got to rebuild. That's what I'm stressing. Don't just fast and then eat some shit, like eat Pop-Tarts for a week and then go fucking fast again. That's not what I'm talking about here. And eat enough calorically to let your body know that you are no longer starving. You are in abundance, and ramp that metabolism back up if you're ketogenic. And then you're ready for your next fast when you get around to it, or if you want to do another one in 3 weeks or 2 weeks, or however aggressive you want to go with it. Alrighty. I really need to drink some water. And shit. Alrighty. Sorry for the momentary break of hydration. Consequently, another important part of a fast like this is making sure you stay hydrated because you are definitely dumping water weight. I had to piss like a fucking racehorse the first fucking 72 hours. And then even yesterday I was pissing a lot too. So, Irfin, I followed you 21 years back. I don't know. I was a bodybuilder, hence moved away from it. I just want health. Weights screwed me up. Yeah, I remember. I've seen you comment a lot, and I try to respond as often as I can, but it gets rough. You've agreed with a lot of the things. You were, if I remember right, weren't you a personal trainer or something like that too? And you can agree. You've seen firsthand what too much exercise, not enough attention to nutrition does to people. And that's why I'm not a fan of pounding the fuckmaster and why I don't waste my time as much anymore. I'm not saying exercise. Let's not get into that fucking subject because that's another war that happens on my channel periodically. I'm not saying exercise is bad. I'm saying exercise is bad for weight loss. It is good for building muscle. You tear the muscle down and then you build it when you eat, but this principle applies. It's like fasting in a way, and that you're tearing down your muscle and then you're going feeding it and building it back up. Fasting supposedly helps this, by the way. Ooh, that was gross. So, continuing on. Sorry. Water and shit. Well, I gotta put that back. That's bothering me. So you've seen firsthand what we go through, and you've seen the results when we stop going to the gym, most likely. And, people getting injured, and a lot of people just go nuts on exercise, and I'm not a believer in that. Moderate exercise. I myself, I get out, I hike periodically. I don't hike a lot, to be honest with you. And especially in the winter, I have not been physically active hardly at all. So keep that in mind, that this 9 pounds went away sitting in this fucking chair, the majority of it. I did go out to a friend's house here and there, but we're talking walking, and we're not talking length of walking. And that's kind of, exercise is not a requirement for weight loss. In fact, if you're not careful and you don't consume the calories you burn during exercise, you are essentially knocking your metabolism down further, making it more difficult to lose weight and plateau easier and regain weight easier when you stop the exercise. That's what a lot of people don't understand. If you lost the weight in the gym, I hope you like the gym, because you have to keep going to maintain your weight loss after that point. If you love the gym, more power to you. not how I want to live my life personally. So let's get back into what we got here. All right. Let's see. Oh, fucking. Did I miss anything? Oh, Psychic Outlaw, you bring up a good point of something that is coming for the channel. What is the best way to send you articles and questions? Thank you for allowing me to plug my shit again. ScottTheTruckDriver.com. Let's bring that shit up. Let's turn this into a full-blown motherfucking plug and shit. If I can find my tabs. I am developing my website to be more of a hub of shit to kind of support the channel. And let me bring it over here. If you want to communicate with me, you want to stay in touch, you want to see all the shit I'm doing, you want to send me articles, you want to do all of that, I will be adding a page. This is the landing page, but the bulk of it is in this area, and you got your menu on this side over here. Right now, if you want to communicate directly with me, and this works like a champ, by the way, I've had several people use this to talk to me. You can come in here to the Contact Me page and fill this form out, and it comes as in the form of an email. I reply with my through my email account to you at that point directly. You can send links, you can send, some small digital files, Google Drive shit, PDFs if you got some book you want me to read or something that you have an article on or a study that you want me to look at. This is going to evolve. I'm going to make a research page, and this is a lot of work that I've added to my workflow, but I'm kind of liking it. It's paying off as far as the website, being productive. So I'm going to create a research page on ScottTheTruckDriver.com that you can contribute, articles. Hey, Scott, take a look at this. That being said, I will have to personally be going through that, and I will do the best I can, but if I get like 150 articles in the month, I'm not going to get to them all right away. They will be gone through. And my plan with that article submission page is to, once I find an article and I have something to say about it, or especially if I believe it is a good, valuable research article or reference to a scientific study, I want to develop a research page that has a list of links for people to check out different subjects along with a little, blurb on what I thought of that particular, because everything's open to interpretation by different people. And it's all about who you want to interpret it for you. Or you can interpret it yourself. And I would hope that most of you interpret all of the shit, not just the shit I'm saying, but all the studies that you give your own free thought and put your shit together yourself. Don't just take others' words for it when you make these decisions, because these are powerful, life-changing things we're playing with here. And you shouldn't do it lightly. You shouldn't just take my word for it. You shouldn't just take, Dr. Berg or, Lustig or any of the other fucking doctors, even Tim Noakes, who I have a lot of respect for because he reversed roles. He used to be the carb fucking athlete guy, and now he's the Banting, which is the old style of keto from the 1900s. And, he's, taking it in as a whole, a bunch of resource articles, a bunch of anecdotal evidence. There's people that do this and they post their results and they show their before and afters and they do all of that. I want a page where all of that goes. It will make it into videos too for the really good stuff. I will make videos based on those articles. Sorry, I'm seeing my shit buffering and my stream is still good according to YouTube. All right. So, yes, there will be an ad, but for now, you can, through Contact Me on my Scott the Truck Driver page. If you're like my Facebook page, I already get a lot of articles and memes and videos, and people are sending me shit a lot now. Trying to trigger me. Some of the stuff wants me to make triggered videos. But a lot of the shit that I do is posted there. you know. And of course, I don't want to go away from this site without mentioning my blog, which shows the entire journey I've been on this week and my journey going forward. Monday through Friday, I will post in here. I'm trying to take Saturday and Sundays off. I don't always do that. I sometimes work on the weekends just because I can't stay away. It's kind of like this channel's my baby, and I don't like leaving my baby unattended for 2 days. But you come in here to the main blog, and you'll see like read more, and then you come in and you get, you know, the whole article. It's got ads in it. Got to pay the bills. Website costs money, by the way. And so there's that. You can comment and like directly here on the site. It is moderated, so if your comment doesn't show up right away, it just means I haven't read it yet. But once I read it, I'll post it and respond to it usually. So that's it. That's ScottTheTruckDriver.com. You can, of course, also contribute. I know for some of you are always looking to contribute to the channel. If you just come up here to support the Scott the Truck Driver, I have right now the only thing I have in here. There's going to be more coming of, you know, stuff where I give you something in return for your contributions. But if you just like the channel, you want to support my channel and my efforts at any time, as often as you want or as little as you want, you just can come in here, click that, and, you know, $1 to $50 you can contribute to the channel. So plug over. My bad. Sorry. But I just want to make everybody, I don't think a lot of people are aware that I've moved a lot of shit to ScottTheTruckDriver.com. I still have a bunch of patrons on Patreon. I'm trying to also work that platform, but ScottTheTruckDriver.com is my baby right now. I'm focusing the majority of my non-video content creation admin efforts, including the blog. I am thinking of a pay-to-play fucking podcast coming up in the future where I get on the mic for a few hours and have kind of a radio show where I talk about different topics related to keto lifestyle, and maybe mix in some non-topical shit that has me triggered, which I come up with shit all the time that I want to talk about, and sometimes some of the shit never makes it out because it comes and goes, and I feel like I should turn on a mic and sit down and have, you know, a place to put all of that, because people seem to want that. If they don't want it, if I do it and it flops, I won't do them. But that's, you know, one of the things I'm looking at. How are we doing on time here? 1 hour, 30 minutes. We'll go 2 hours tonight. Fuck it. It's snowing out and shit. All right, I missed a whole bunch of comments on that little rant. So let's see where we're at. I'm trying to get to people I haven't already talked to, and unless I don't see any new questions, I'll go back. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Some of these ripped keto guys build muscle on stairs. I agree with that. You know, okay, Steve wrote, some of these ripped keto guys are so bulked up, they must be on steroids. And, you know, it's questionable. You have to work out a really long time, I think, to get that ripped and that big on a ketogenic diet. So it does bring that question to light. I'm not going to accuse nobody of nothing. I don't know shit when it comes to bodybuilding. I don't know shit about steroids. I would never do that. I'm not one of these people with the goal of being big, bulky, ripped, and fucking, you know, abs and shit. That's no longer a goal. I'm old. I'm fucking, well, some of you are going to be like, you ain't old, asshole. I'm 60. Fuck you. You know, I'm old. I don't really desire these things. So, let's see here. Irfan, I already talked to you a little bit. Let's see what else we got here. Duck said, thank you. You're welcome, and thank you for watching. All of you watching does contribute as well. You don't have to give financially to support the channel. Just watch shit, you know. Take some time out of your day and watch my shit. And I can make more shit. Things are going well, by the way, since the switch from Patreon. I have not lost, thanks to Patreon fucking us. A lot of the people that were contributing on Patreon did come over, so I can continue to make more shit and spend time. Like, I literally didn't have to Uber this week because of you guys keeping me busy, so I devoted that extra time, much like tonight, which tonight's peak Uber time. I'm here doing a live stream with you guys because you guys are helping get to that point where I can do YouTube by itself. I won't put all my eggs in that basket because that's a gravy train that can end at any moment. But so I have options I keep on the table, but I would like to do this the majority of my time. Hamming distance. I can highly recommend Robert Lustig, and so can I. I don't agree with everything Robert Lustig says. He just is like the whole food guy. Get rid of sugar, fructose is the devil. He doesn't seem to mind starchy carbs. He doesn't seem to mind a lot of other issues. He is a pediatric endocrinologist, so he's treated obese children. He knows his biochemistry, and that's the foundation of his movement. I agree in the sugar and carbs just as vehemently and strongly as he does. But I diverge a little bit with the fruits. He contends if you eat a lot of fruit because of the fiber, the fructose doesn't affect you as much. Yet I know if I eat fruit on a normal, regular basis, I will regain weight. I will, be kicked out of ketosis, obviously. And yeah, I might experiment with a Whole Foods 30-day challenge at some point and see how much weight I regain. To where I don't eat carbs and sugar, refined carbs, no bread and none of that shit. But if it grows, or it's a meat or a fat, I can eat it. I don't like the idea of being a carb burner though, and all the pitfalls that come with that, including increased hunger, and less satiety. And so there's that. But it would be curious to see how much weight I would regain if I did a Whole Foods diet like he suggests. Not on the table for this year, though. I have a lot of fat keto fasting experiments I want to try and do. I want to experiment with the carnivore diet. I want to experiment with the steak and eggs diet, and just kind of see what happens. So there are self-experiments in the future that don't revolve around carbs. Eventually I want to say fuck you to the vegans and eat a vegan diet and show what it does to me after having been fat adapted so long, just to say, hey, look, are you going to dispute that? I gained 15 fucking pounds on your fucking diet. Guess what? Vegan diet isn't for everyone, and I can predict that. And I'll even follow some fucking vegan's site on, what they want me to eat. And see how it goes. I'm particularly Dr. Greger. I want to see what his dietary guidelines are and follow those and see what it does to me at some point. I'm going to be miserable as fuck. I'm going to be hungry as fuck. And I'm going to tell you about all of that. That's later in the year. I'm planning that. So, but I'm definitely not going to be a permanent vegan because I'm going to be fucking miserable. I'm miserable just thinking about it. Like I'm having like slight fucking vein movement in my head. Just fucking considering trying vegan for 30 days. That's like 30 days. I'm going to jail for 30 days. Hopefully I don't get fucked in the ass while I'm in jail. That's kind of where I'm at with that. So, alrighty. I think we're winding down a little. Let's see. Terry, when your body is exposed to excessive heat, your proteins get messed up. Your body is able to produce other proteins that fix them. I haven't done a lot of research into heat and cold and its effects on our metabolism. I've gotten a lot of people telling me, hey, you need to do cold therapy. You need to make yourself cold. It'll ramp up your metabolism. And we're getting into some diminishing returns in that territory. My weight loss has come without even thinking about any of that shit. So I'm not in a hurry to add that. If I run out of shit to experiment with, which isn't the case right now, I might do something like that. But when you get to your goal, there's only so much you need to experiment with to figure out, where you stand with things. Hold on a sec. I have to double check. All right. And by the way, heat. You're going to flush your electrolytes on keto, by the way. So make sure if you are in the sauna and fucking heating your ass off, that you definitely need to take in salt, magnesium, and potassium from whatever way you normally do that. If you don't, you're going to have cramps, you're going to have an energy crash, and you're going to feel like complete dog shit. It's going to be like a hangover. which consequently is why you have hangover, is your water weight drops, you dehydrate, and you lose a lot of your electrolytes in the process. So, Sarah Cavalier, hey Scott, what is with keto breath? When you are ketogenic, and I'm gonna raise this because I have keto breath quite regularly, and it's not fun. It's very hard to get rid of. Like, you could brush your teeth, use mouthwash, and literally within an hour, your breath smells again. Um, when you're in ketosis, I think it's acetone or something. There's a byproduct of ketones that is released through breath. That's why you can check your ketosis level with breath. And that's where it comes out, is your breath. And some people report also having some BO as a result of being in strong ketosis. If you sweat a lot, you're going to smell a little fruity, a little funky. It's not a pleasant smell. I've never had anybody smell my breath and be like, hey, you got some great fucking breath. Let's make out and shit. No, it's not the case. But as long as you are in ketosis, you are expelling that from your breath. It gives you the odor. It's also a good indicator that you're in ketosis. So if you have keto breath, then you don't need piss strips. You could be like, dude, I know I'm in ketosis. Smell my breath. And shit. So there is that. All right. Let's see here. Terry said, I thought keto helped with epilepsy. It absolutely does. It was used to treat epilepsy long before we even knew about keto. In the early 1900s, that's how they treated epileptics. Consequently, they also treated diabetes with a low-carb diet. I don't know how we forgot that shit, but somehow we thought we were smarter than we used to be, and we came up with the diet hard hypothesis and say everything will be cured if we go to a high-carb, low-fat diet because fat is the devil. And then we are now in this state, well, okay, we didn't do well that way, but it's because we're eating animals. It's time to go to plant-based and shit. Your plate's going to get greener and greener with them fucking dietary recommendations going forward. Sorry to say it, we're not on board with the Swedes on this one, but it's all financial. You should never base your dietary choices on the government standard recommended diet, ever, because they are not doing the science. They don't give a fuck about the science. They have some observational studies, which is what the 7-country study was, that they based their shit off of. And that is why we are in the mess that we are in, because we listened to the motherfuckers. We went low fat, and where'd that get us? And now they want to double down and say, oh, you need to stay low fat, motherfucker. Well, guess what? When you're not eating fat, you have to fill in the gap. And you can't fill it in with protein if all we're eating for fucking protein is nuts and fucking, vegetables and shit. You're going to fill in the gap with carbs. And a lot whole grains and shit. I think grains are bad in general, whether they're whole or refined. I've never had a good experience even eating whole grain. I've always gained weight. I've always gotten bloated. I've always felt like shit. And I've never had it been satiating, for sure. I've always been hungry if I've eaten grains. I used to do granola a lot, whole grain. And, fuck that. It's not how we're designed to eat. Alrighty. One Golden Breeze, you're brave with trying the vegan. Whoa, I just can't even. And let me caveat that. I won't go over 30 days. I do not like the idea of a B12 deficiency. I might even supplement, and I hate supplements, just to make sure I don't go through that pain, which is technically breaking vegan, isn't it? Because B12 comes from animals, and if you're taking a supplement, it stands to reason they probably got it from an animal. But that's not why I'm trying it. I want to know what it does to me physically. I already know what it's going to do to me metabolically. I'm going to be hungry. I might even undereat and tank my metabolism, or I'll overeat and get fat. But that's the two options. My metabolism is probably going to drop, to be honest with you, and I'll have to do a keto recovery, which will probably consist of a weight gain. And which vegans will say, well, look at that, you went back keto, gained weight, motherfucker. No, your fucking vegan diet tanked my metabolism, and now I got to rebound. So I'm going to explore all of that, but not yet. It's one of them things I have to work myself up to because I really don't want to do it. I really don't. But I know it's the only way to shut them the fuck up about being a vegan. And, that way I can say, look, I tried your shit, and look what it did. And look what happened afterwards, when you go back. Oh, don't go back. Stay vegan. Yeah. And then become completely malnourished and underfed. Which consequently, that's my theory on why vegans are thin and lose a lot of weight, because they're not taking in enough calories to offset their, BMR and their exercise, and it's causing them to be thin. But if they stop being vegan, or if they somehow overeat, or they eat vegan processed foods, which there are big vegans, and the big vegans are eating the processed foods, whereas the raw vegans are losing shit tons of weight and saying, look, it's healthy, I'm thin as fuck. Yeah, and you're also burning 500 less calories at your basal metabolic rate than me. Let's go have a fucking, let's go get our VO2 measured and see who's doing good, metabolically. You don't see studies like that, and I wish you did, to be honest with you. So. All right, trigger me with the fucking vegan shit. What the hell? Alrighty. Let's see what we got here. Paul Smart. Apparently, fermented foods are good for gut microbiology. And that's true. Again, we're getting into optimal health when we talk about the fermented food things. And I actually know somebody who was fermenting their own foods. And you're getting diminishing returns at that point. You might get an extra year out of your health span if you go optimal health. And it's so fucking restrictive to go optimal health that I don't think I will ever go optimal health. That's weird. Am I that far behind here? It's a good thing I put my chat on the screen. Sorry, my stream is like way far behind. Well, my preview of the stream's way far behind where I'm actually at. If you love optimal health, you love tracking the minutia of micronutrition, you take supplements, you're experimenting with, different, foods that some foods you won't enjoy. For me to do this, I need to... Oh, Michelle just asked me a triggered question. Michelle, I'll get to you in a sec. We're going full screen on that one. I don't believe in compromising the contentment and happiness of my diet for favor of being a little more dialed in. I could do a more strict ketogenic diet. I could keep my carbs under 20 grams. I could not eat artificial sweetener. I could not eat pork rinds, which are arguably keto junk food, or the French onion dip, which has MSG in it. I'm aware of the bad foods I eat. I tend to eat them in moderation, but I'm not quite ready to give them up. I'll fuck around with it, but if it comes between me being optimally healthy and me being tempted to quit the diet because I'm fucking miserable, I'm going to try and reach that middle ground of maybe not so healthy. I'll eat some processed meats. If I'm out and about and I can't find anything else, I'll have the fucking McDonald's burger without the bun. And know that I don't want to eat that way every day, but you know what? I gotta do what I gotta do. Otherwise, it's the alternative, which is just going back to the standard American diet. And I don't want to do that. I have no desire to go back. So I don't want to make the keto diet more difficult than it already is. And it is pretty difficult, even as liberal with the carbs as I am at 50 grams. And some people can't go 50 because of their damage. I tested this out. I stepped it up and I figured out that 50 grams is where, the most I can go before ketosis goes away. So hope that answers your question. Now I got to get back up to Michelle's question. Where was it? Did we skip way the fuck down? Okay. Michelle Spore, why are you so anti-supplements? Oh, shit. All right, I went and did it, and I have to fucking get a little triggered. All right. first answer to the anti-supplement question, that a lot of people are scared of becoming deficient in vitamins and minerals, and they think that they're going to drop dead if somehow they become deficient. If you go and get your blood work done and you are not vitamin or mineral deficient, minerals, you can tell. You get physical symptoms right away if you're deficient in certain minerals. Vitamins, you got to get the blood work, or there's some symptoms that you can come to that, are there. And okay, so looking at through this lens, this is the second time I've answered this question today. I was in a debate with somebody, or a talk with somebody earlier, had the same question. If you're not deficient, you're throwing money away. You're pissing out the vitamins. Some vitamins in pill form don't even get absorbed. Some are fat soluble, so if you don't take them with fat or incorporated into fat, you will not absorb them. There are some anti-nutrients that could be in your diet that prevent you from absorbing certain vitamins, even if you're taking them in supplement form. And the supplement industry is raking in the dough based on this because of fear. They want you to be afraid that you're going to become deficient, you're going to get scurvy, and all these other fucking diseases that used to happen a long time ago that haven't happened in a long time. I never took supplements my entire life. There was a time where I take that back. I did take a multivitamin in my 20s at some point, but then I was like, what the fuck am I doing this for? It didn't change anything. I don't feel any better, And before I started this 3-year journey, I had blood work and all my numbers were fine. I was hovering in pre-diabetes as far as that goes, but as far as vitamins and minerals, I was vitamin D deficient, which most people have. Sunlight, I don't get a lot of it. I'm in the fucking room a lot, or I'm in the truck a lot. So supplements should only be used if you are deficient. If you find out you are deficient in a vitamin, and often they'll prescribe a supplement to you, a very hardcore one too. In the case, and they did for me. I was vitamin D deficient, so next thing you know, I had like some fucking huge prescription strength fucking supplement to get me back into vitamin D deficiency. And you know what? I didn't touch it. I didn't fuck with it. I didn't eat it. And guess what? Nothing happened. That was 3 years ago. I'm fine. I feel fine. Nothing's happened. I haven't dropped dead. Doing good. So I didn't throw money away. I didn't pay for a prescription for fucking vitamin D. I didn't go down to the fucking GNC and spend $30 on a fucking bottle of vitamins. I'm fine. And this is the trap you can fall in with, the whole optimal health shit. The second thing, if you are deficient, what am I not eating that has that? And I would look that up. What is high in that particular vitamin and mineral, and why don't I get enough of it? And you'll often find there's a simple food solution that'll get you there. So maybe supplement for a month and then work that food back into your diet and you're good. This idea of taking supplements to prevent shit, that is helping the market. That's not helping your health. And you can overconsume some supplements and cause problems. So I'm not a fan of supplements. I never will be. I know a lot of you are not going to be on board with that. It is what it is. Do what's best for you. Me personally, I will not consume or buy supplements. I do not believe in it. I've had supplement companies offer, like I just got an offer last week from a bodybuilding supplement company for this channel, which could benefit financially from. And I wrote them back and said, I'm anti-supplement. Thank you for offering. They offered to give me like a $70 fucking bucket of protein and, all this other. I'm like, dude, I'm keto. I don't need fucking protein supplements. I get plenty. Trust me. And, and I turned them down. I was like, no, I'm not going to review your shit in my videos because I don't believe in it. I want to maintain my personal integrity. If I mention a product on here, I don't want it to be because they paid me. I want it to be because it's something I use. I like Veronica's Health Crunch. I eat that shit all the time. Nobody's paying me. They're not sending me. I wish they would send me free shit. But I mentioned Veronica's Health Crunch as one of my keto desserts. It's like one of my keto junk foods. It's nuts, it's natural, it's not, it's got coconut oil, and it's not bad for you, but I know I can overeat it if I eat more than one bag. That's where we're at. I don't believe in supplements. I don't think I ever will. And that's kind of not going to change. I have not seen any evidence or proof. In fact, I'm now encountering things with the carnivores on, do our daily vitamin requirements remain the same when we are consuming only meat and only fat? Does a ketogenics daily recommended vitamin requirements, is it the same? If you are deficient, does it differ from when you're a carb burner or a fat burner? These are unanswered questions that the carnivores are currently experimenting with. I don't think I could be a carnivore. I like dairy, I like cheese, and I do like salads and vegetables. So, and a little bit of tomatoes and some berries every now and then. And I can't live without my yogurt. So I'm not on board with the carnivores necessarily, but I am intrigued by the data that they've presented, which includes a lot of historical studies on societies that consumed primarily meat or all meat with no veg, and did not run into these deficiencies or the diseases associated with vitamin deficiency. I think industry, seized the moment when people were getting scurvy and all of these vitamin related deficiency diseases. And they overshot the mark and monetized it to a degree that now supplements are a huge industry, making money off of your fear. And I would contend that 80% of the people popping supplements would be just fine without them. There is some placebo effect argument there. But if a company can put it in a bottle and it makes you feel good and you're happy paying that company to feel good, then I say do it. Me personally, I feel good knowing that I'm not throwing the money away to trick myself into feeling good when I don't have any vitamin deficiencies to begin with. So it is what it is. As far as electrolytes, that is an important thing. Right away when you're deficient. You'll get cramps, you'll feel like shit, you'll get dizzy, you'll get lightheaded. That's a salt deficiency when you get lightheaded and feel like shit and low energy, or you'll generally crave salt too during that period. So it is important for electrolytes. I do suggest supplementing that if you have trouble integrating it into your food. And that's important. I'm not disputing that. However, when I properly add the electrolytes into my food, as in I salt all the foods I eat, I take magnesium baths, I don't seem to have a potassium problem with my diet because I do consume spinach and kale and a lot of potassium rich vegetables, and I consume them raw usually, so I don't have a problem with that. So Spive21, I didn't realize Scott was live. How long has he been on? I've been on almost 2 hours, so it's getting time to call it a night. I'll take one or two more comments and see where we're at. Let's see. I'll try and pick somebody out here that I haven't talked to already. Let's see. Now I feel bad. I take vitamin and mineral supplement. Oh, Paul. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel bad, man. Now I feel bad. I take a vitamin mineral supplement and omega-3 and a low dose of aspirin. That's for something else. Look, if you're happy doing that, I didn't want to make anyone feel bad that is taking supplements. I'm just saying it's not for me. If it's doing something for you, even if it's a placebo effect, I guess. As far as this omega-3 that you mentioned, I consume a lot of pecans, even though the price fucking went up. It sucks. Which are equal omega-3, omega-6. I eat tuna periodically, not often because I don't want to get that whole mercury thing going. Um, so, I get my omega-3s. I am not concerned. I do know that the steaks and the eggs that I consume are higher on omega-6s. So my balance may be a little skewed, but here's the thing. I feel fine. My weight loss is fine. My health is fine. So should I really be getting pissed off if my omega-6s are outpacing the omega-3s? Because we're supposed to keep them even, allegedly. Who came up with that? I don't know. I haven't seen any long-term studies on whether or not, there's an omega-3 deficiency or if it's out of whack for a long time, what happens to you. I'm not gonna worry about it. I don't think I've ever heard of somebody dying because they didn't get enough omega-3. And, there's people that live a really long time without it. For example, I just got an article today about a 116-year-old woman who ate eggs, bacon, and corn for her meals, and raw eggs at some point. She loved eggs and bacon. That's pretty much all she ate, and that's what she attributed her longevity to. She's the oldest woman currently in the world, I believe, according to this article. And then dig deeper to see if it was shit or not. And one of you, I think, submitted that, and you might even be here tonight. I think it was Psychic Outlaw that submitted that article to me. So, yeah, I'm not too concerned. That's another reason I'm not concerned. I mean, when we were hunter-gatherers, were we fucking going down to GNC? No. Now, some will say, well, but we were malnourished. True, maybe. We might have missed a vitamin here or there. Did we live a decent, healthy life before we got stabbed with a spear or killed by a lion or whatever? That's an arguable thing. There are, like I said, tribes that did not consume vegetables, which means they're deficient in vitamin C, yet they didn't experience the symptoms of scurvy. So, it is what it is. If anything, I don't want to make you feel bad if you take supplements, but I would like you to kind of do your homework so you can be a little more informed of your decision. And definitely go out and get your blood work. You might not need supplements, Stop taking supplements for a month, then go get your blood work and see how it's going, That's what I would do if I was unsure of whether or not these supplements were doing shit. If I was doling out all this money every month, is it doing anything for me for real as far as my blood work? That's what I would evaluate. And you can't overdo it. Some supplements are dangerous if you can overconsume them. So, and some will send you the bowl and give you all kinds of other fucking problems. Alrighty. I think I need to wrap it up. We are at 2 hours. I generally try to end at 2 hours. But before I go, I do want to acknowledge all of the people, and this is going to be boring. I understand if you turn the video off at this point, who are making it possible for me to spend as much time as I do creating content, doing the daily blog, running the website. I spent the whole weekend during the Patreon incident building that site. And I maintain it daily now for a couple hours a day. I spend working on the blog and typing it. But I do want to go through some credits. I haven't put together new credits for the video yet because of the transition. But there are a bunch of people who are financially contributing to the channel that are making it possible for me to continue to do this as often as I do. I would never quit. Even if all the money went away from ad revenue, like I got demonetized to hell, which could happen. I'm not ruling that shit out. And all the, contributors decided to no longer contribute, I would still make videos. It'd probably be back to one video a week like it used to be. But if you've noticed, there's a lot more content. There's a blog. I'm working on other things for the website. I might be doing a podcast soon. All of that is possible from the financial support that users have been doing. So I'm going to go through and thank all of these people. Just today during this podcast, Cap Marlette, Matt Mui, Gene Burrill, and I'm going to butcher names, so I apologize ahead of time. Technichrono and Hamming Distance all contributed to the super chat. For this particular live stream, that definitely helps. It keeps me going longer. Like I stayed 2 hours because you guys are helping out. You guys are keeping me going, and that matters a lot. Patreon. I do want to go through them first because is a group of people who they don't want to switch. They just want it to be taken off their card every month, and they understand I'm not doing content on Patreon anymore, exclusive to Patreon. I'm not doing Patreon rewards anymore. So, but Patreon did back down, and they didn't charge the fee problem, which led to the mass exodus of Patreon by multiple contributors and or creators and contributors. There's a bunch of us left, and I'm one of them. I left it open. If it hits 0 at some point, I'll shut it down. But I know some people, they don't want to, bother trying to do a payment every month, so they do it through Patreon. So I want to kind of thank them for a little bit. And let's see here. I got to go through some names and shit. Alrighty, the following people on Patreon contributed to make this possible. One of them is here now, in the chat, I believe, and unless she left or he left, I can't tell if it's I can't see the picture very well. Adam Abate, Kat Marlette, Khan Alexandrovsky, Deborah Waltenberg. Now I want to pause on her because she's doing more than a monetary contribution. A lot of my blogs, I don't know if you've noticed, if you get in there within the first day of me typing it, the punctuation is atrocious. My writing skills are debatable. We'll just put it that way. And she is a transcriptionist, so she has volunteered to edit my blogs for me, and every day I get an email about halfway through the day, and I update my blogs with the corrections after reading them. And she's contributing to the channel by working on shit, and that has been a big help because arguably my writing skills need a little work. So I'm very happy that she is doing that. I've told her, look, this seems like a lot of work. I feel bad that you're doing this. I mean, you don't have to do this. I'd rather wait till the channel grows to the point where I can pay somebody to do this shit because this is not fun work. But she is doing that. She's going to transcribe some videos periodically and turn them into articles for me. So she is becoming one of the first staff members of this channel. And she's doing so on a voluntary basis. And I definitely value what she's done. She is, keeping an eye on my content and pointing out the things that I could improve and contributing directly work that normally would just all fall on me. So I just wanted to take an extra moment to thank Deborah because she has really stepped up since I started the website and is helping me keep my blogs a little bit more, better, a little bit better punctuation, and and the transcription is, awesome. If I wanted to have a video converted to text, she's willing to do it. I've told her not yet. I don't think we need that yet, but she's definitely a big contributor now. And it's not financial. She's contributing to the work. And of course we have Wes Derrickson, who contributes music. That theme song that it's at the beginning of all my videos, he did for me and donated it to the channel to be used. So, there are people contributing in other ways other than finances. Another contribution, which is what I'm developing the research page for, is people that do research and want articles and stuff. They want input into my research and from my perspective on that research and what I thought of it. And so I'm developing a crediting system and a page where you can submit articles and studies for me to look at and give my thoughts on. There's going to be shit that I can't get to and all of that, but there are people who are contributing to the channel in other ways and they don't have to be financial. And also, like I said, if you watch my shit, you're contributing that way. Especially if you sit through the ads, because I do put a little extra ads on. So thank you, Deborah. Donald Grant, he's been a long time contributor. Dory Lamarco Nordlinger is contributing on Patreon. Elvis, God, I suck at names. Hadje Petro and shit. All right. Harold Eric Ewan, Isabel Belvin, Jason Baccaro. Did he make an appearance tonight? I don't know. Jennifer, JP Lavin, Matt, Robertino Jesse Lopez, who I believe was asking me about, having like a brunch with me. Meet and greets are in the future. I'm not ready for that yet. I don't even think I'm big enough to even do meet and greets. I will though once things are big enough and I can actually travel a little bit, and I do like to travel, so road trips down the line where I kind of go different places and say I'm going to be here, kind of like the Hodge twins do right now. In fact, they're making a living doing like a comedy show and traveling around the country, and most of the videos they throw on YouTube that aren't on their paywall, they're, look, we're going to be here, and I actually went to see them when they came here. So down the line, as the channel grows, if possible, if I don't have a day job, if I don't have to do all these other things to make money, and I can go travel different places and spend time doing other things, I will. But for now, not so much. All right. So, sorry, I almost forgot that you asked me that earlier. Ronald Skolnick, Sam Mercedes, Cindy Verdugo, and is that right? Yeah, Stacy Bradley. So those are the contributors that are still on Patreon. They're real troopers because I completely abandoned Patreon. I do share my links to my blog on there still, but I'm not as active on there as I was when it was the hub before my website, and I shifted the hub for everything I'm doing over to ScottTheTruckDriver.com. So speaking of which, now let me get to the people who really made, because I was paranoid that I needed to go out and Uber for an extra week to make up, and not put out as much content. I had a backlog of shit that I'm working on. I still haven't pumped out the adventure video that I've been working on for quite a while, where I went to St. Lucia and Disney, and my minimalism and how that comes into play and my thoughts on that trip. I'm still working on that. It's taking me a while. I literally got to take time off to work on it because I don't like the idea of neglecting the other content for this. This is going to be a long ass fucking video. I'm amazed if anybody's still watching. You guys are still here? Really? You're sitting through this boring ass shit? All right. So let's get to the contributors that I want to thank that have been contributing via the tip jar on ScottTheTruckDriver.com. And I want to thank them because these are the people who, at a time when I full on was depressed because of what happened with Patreon. And I thought that would be the end of me being able to put out as much content, which is why I was depressed. It wasn't the money. It was that I had, I can get the money. I can go out and do other shit. But I was enjoying being able to spend as much time as I've been spending here on the channel. And these are the people that stepped up so that I didn't skip a beat this month. Because otherwise I was going to lose a third of, the $600 a month, which is what I get between ad revenue and people's contributions right now. The goal was $2,000 a month to do this full time. However, I've been putting in full time easily without that, and I've continued to do so. And sometimes it gets rough. Sometimes I do occasionally take a day off, well, a pseudo day off. I still do research on those days. But, I'm so dedicated to the channel that I don't feel like giving up, So let me get into that. Sorry. This is what happens when you're a one-man band. You don't just have shit fed to you on screens and shit like the big boys. Sometimes you got to get in here and do that shit yourself. Alrighty. Oh, we have two new contributions. I just want to bring that to light. This happened while we were live streaming. So John Frickle and Stefan Mark contributed, and they were very generous during the live stream here with their contribution. So I want to thank the two of you. If you're here, I appreciate it. I really do. You know, it's you know I get speechless sometimes with how generous people have been on here. Nathan Estevaliant is a contributor. Narda Fawcett, Dawn Delayan. Butchering names left and right in here. No name is safe. Lucas's Petroswowski. Shit. Okay, I'm sorry. But thank you. Jan Jewell. Laura Kropik. Jill Fiend. Joseph Ballantyne, Cherry Ambrose, Khaldun Saman, Rasolba Zuniga-ish, Francisco Francisco P. There you go. Just do your initial if I can't pronounce your name. Yeah. That's why I make video and I don't write a lot. Susan Dale, Stephen Yack, Jennifer Woltrig, who, by the way, talks to me a lot via the Facebook page and has told me a lot of stories from a medical perspective because she works in the medical industry. And I'm impressed with she encounters a lot of the pitfalls in the medical world that I've encountered out here. And it's sad that that's the state of our medical industry. Tom Holtev, David Carroll, Eileen Cole, Crystal Spore, Paul Smart, who I did believe was in the chat. Don't know if he's still here. I hope I didn't miss too many of your chats because the chat's been flowing pretty solid. Of course, Deborah Waltenberg. She's contributing both on Patreon and did it through a tip in the tip jar. So she's being pretty generous too. Janie Kennedy, and that's it for December. And the way I'm going to do that... Why is video playback... Is your stream still going? What the hell? Alright, hold on. I got to reload that. So, if not for all those people... this would not, and of course, Dirk Rankin, boom, just fucking, contributed to Super Chat while I'm sitting here doing the most boringest part of this video for most people. So, my video playback interrupted. What the hell? I hope you guys are still seeing this because, well, it says the stream's still good, but my preview of it went away. So thank you to all of you. I hope you all have a happy holiday. I will be taking Christmas Day off. I am taking Saturday and Sunday off. However, when I break my 7-day fat fast, because I still have 2 more days, I will do a blog post on ScottTheTruckDriver.com and tell you my final weigh-in, my final thoughts, and then I will begin the refeed, and we will be documenting that on that blog. There will be videos sporadically about this, kind of like today is the 5-day video pretty much. And we'll just figure it out as we go as far as doing these self-experiments. But I do contribute there every day. I'm trying to make those blogs as good as the videos as far as, content and thoughts on certain subjects and things that trigger me and so on and so forth. So I hope you all have a fucking happy holiday and shit. And, I'm not a big holiday guy. I'm not a big Christmas guy. In fact, I'm just using it as an excuse to take the day off because I do work too much. I'm going to try and relax and not do work for the next 3 days. So, but thank you guys for all you do. I'll be cracking back on it on Tuesday and cranking out. By New Year's, I'm going to roll out the podcast that I'm going to try and do. That is going to be $1 a download pretty much. So, basically it'll be in the store along with the tip jar. And you pay $1 and you get podcast, it's probably going to be just as long as this fucking live stream. And we'll see how that goes. If you guys like it, I'll keep doing it. If, it's kind of a trial type thing I'll do there. It's not going to take away from YouTube content because it's very easy to just sit here, turn on the mic, and talk and have some things to talk about because I do get triggered a lot. You guys, it'll rely heavily on answering comments there and questions that people ask me on a regular basis. And sometimes I feel like I waste my time, just by answering that one person's question with an answer that could benefit a broader audience who gives a shit. And I want to be able to share all of that. So that's coming up in January. Also, the research page, I'm going to be developing that. I just literally threw on tonight a live stream page where you will be able to keep in touch with a live stream schedule. I will try and start scheduling them a little more in advance. I've been trying to be flexible because I got a lot going on. So in the future, you'll have a schedule of live streams coming up. I'm going to try and set aside times and dates. I don't like locking myself in because I need to be flexible right now, but there will be a schedule with at least a week notice of live streams. I'll try and plan them out so that more people can attend that want to attend. And I get a lot of messages. I couldn't make it. Good luck. I'll watch it after. So thank you. Oh, Psychic Outlaw. Like I said, my son heard you swearing today, and they said, ooh, I like that guy. Well, that makes one. I regularly get comments, dude, you swear your filthy mouth is fucking, I don't want to watch you no more. I don't care. I like your message, but fuck you for fucking swearing. That's just not. I swear. And the reason I swear is because when I self-censor, when I try not to swear, I'm using brain power to do that, and I'm kind of one of these singularly focused motherfuckers, as you've seen. Like, if I see something that distracts me, it pulls me off of whatever the fuck I was talking about, and I go in and do that. And it's the same if I try not to swear. I get so focused on not swearing that I might lose my train of thought, and that's why I swear in my videos. And I do swear a lot in real life. I get yelled at in real life too. So, but I can at least in real life, when I don't need my brain for anything, I can be like, okay, I just won't swear. Customer service situations being the main part of that. So thank you all again. Good night. Merry Christmas. If I didn't get to your comment or your question, I apologize. I will be doing more exclusive live streams for contributors at some point, so that you get more of an opportunity to chat. And it's a little easier for the chat to not go a million miles an hour. And someday when I'm a bigger YouTuber, I will hire somebody to go through and queue up some questions from the chat, and then basically that way no one gets missed that has a good pertinent question. I think that's a little more impersonal, though. I kind of like just kind of being here and going directly. So Merry Christmas. If you fall off the wagon on Christmas, just get back on the fucking wagon or the horse or whatever fucking way you want to work that metaphor. So, have a nice motherfucking day and shit. And wait patiently as I get ready to roll some fucking credits. These credits haven't been updated, so a lot of the people I just mentioned verbally will not. But I do it so the video doesn't just fucking cut off while I'm still talking. So, see you guys next time. I'll try and do another live stream next week. Probably talking about my refeed results. So, there's that. Let's fucking set this shit up and shit.